Welcome to the Advanced Biology with MD channel. From today's video, we will know about the coordination in plants. It is class 10 NCERT topic and we will discuss about it step by step. First of all, we know animals have both locomotion and movement, but plant does not have any kind of locomotion. It only have movement. Why? Now we will discuss about it, the answer here. First of all, we know or we will discuss it that when we touch the leaves of a tree root, they begin to fold up and droop. And what is chewing? It is a sensitive plant. It is one kind of sensitive plant of mimosa family. What is this? Chewing? Chewing is a sensitive plant. It is a sensitive plant of mimosa family. They begin to fold up and droop when any kind of stimulus is given to this plant, is given to sensitive plant. They begin to fold up and droop. They are too sensitive to it. When we will think that just examine, this is a sensitive plant. When we touch it or when we fold it or when any kind of stimulus like light, heat, any kind of air is given to it or it changes this environment to it. So what is happened? That it is begin to fold and it is droop or any kind of movement shown by this plant. Now the next part, when a seed germinates, the root goes down and the stem comes up into the air. It is a normal process, like when we eat a food or when we something we will feed it, and every fruit has seed. When we leave the seed any soil or any kind of moisture soil that is favorable condition to that seed, they happen to go. In that case, we will see the root goes down and the stem comes up into air. That is a natural process of a plant. It happens. Okay. Now, what is the next part? We will see plants show two different types of movement. Why? Why plants show two different types of movement? We will see that when a seed germinates, it shows a directional movement. What is directional movement? Like the root goes down and the stem comes up into air. It's a directional movement. In that case, we will see the stem comes up into air and the root goes down. It's a natural process. It's a natural phenomenon of a plant. So it happens. Then we will see that the plant show two different types of movement. Number one is dependent on growth. Number two is independent on growth. And we will discuss at first the independent on growth. Independent on growth, it's a normal process. It's a normal phenomenon. It's a independent process. Why it is independent process? Because it happens every plant. The root goes down and stem comes up into air. It is a directional process. So it is a independent on growth. And what is dependent on growth? Dependent on growth means when any external factor, or like we will think about it, it's a mimosa family plant. When we touch it, it begins to droop or fold up. So it happens by external factor or any external stimulus is given to it. That's it. Then the dependent on growth happens. Like when a seed germinate, when any external factor is given to a seed, or it resists to grow a seed, or it gives any unfavorable condition to it, then dependent on growth is happen. In that case, any kind of growth does not happen. We will not see any kind of growth. Like what we will tell or what we will discuss, that at first, what is independent growth? Independent on growth. Independent on growth it means that it is a natural process that it is natural phenomenon. Like this case, when a seed germinates, the root goes down and a stem comes up into air, like that. It means that is independent, that is natural phenomenon of a plant that happens in all case of plants. And what is dependent on growth? Dependent on growth means when it take it as an example, when a seed that is resisted or is intensified by any kind of external factors, in that case we will see the dependent on growth. That is all about the coordination in plants. Now we will first see, when we touch the leaves of a chewing, what is chewing? Sensitive part of a mimosa family. They begin to fold up and droop. And second, we see when a seed germinates, the root goes down and the stem comes up into air. It's an independent phenomenon. It's a natural phenomenon of a plant. It does not affect it, or it doesn't affect by any external factor, but dependent on growth. What it means? It means when any plant part or when a seed, like it is an example, it is resisted or intensified by any, or it affected by any kind of external factors, then we will see dependent on growth. That is all about the coordination in plant. We will see that first, animals have both locomotion and movement, but plant have only only movement but does not have locomotion. Why? Plant does not move any part to another part. Plant like it is a plant. It is stand by in this position. It does not move by naturally, but doesn't move by itself. It is stay by itself in that position. So we will see in this case only movement. We don't see any kind of locomotion in plant, but animals have both locomotion and movement, and it is all about the coordination in plant, and we will discuss the stimulus part in next. Now we will discuss about the immediate response to stimulus. First of all, we know what is stimulus. Stimulus is the when any kind of external factors or internal factors affected to, or it affects the plants and animals, and in a result a certain change happens to animals or plants, that is called stimulus. External factors or internal factors that affected to plants or animals, that is stimulus. Now we will discuss in this case about the plant. What kind of, in what process a stimulus is affected to plant. Plant does not have or does not any kind of plant doesn't have any kind of nervous or muscular tissue that animal has. Plant does not have any kind of nervous or muscular tissue. Now we will, in a question that is comes to our mind, now what kind of process a plant is affected to? If we think about where exactly the plant is touched, when any kind of external like light or air or any touch sensation is given to the plant, then plant show the locomotion. If we think about where exactly the plant is touched and what part about the plant actually moves, it is apparent that movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. Movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. Like this is the plant. When touch is given to the plant in that position, the movement happens in that position. Exactly, the line says, if we think about where exactly the plant is touched and what part of the plant actually moves, it is apparent that movement happens at a point different from the point of touch. It is easy to get it, or it is easy to understand. Now the third point, the plants also use electrical or chemical means to convey the information from the cell to cell, but unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for the conduction of information. Some kind of electrical or chemical means, like what is phytohormones, or plant hormones, or any kind of external stimulus or any kind of electrical disturbance is given to the plant, it conveys the information from cell to cell. Like animal cell, when you slap in hand, it conveys the information to the head or to the brain in hypothalamus. In hypothalamus, it sends the message in hypothalamus. Like plant that sends the information from cell to cell. And the next point says, but unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for the conduction of information. Animals have the ability, or animals have the specialized tissue for the conduction of information. For electrical happens, what is conduction? Conduction means electrical changes, or electrical means goes from cell to cell, that animal have, but plant doesn't. Plant doesn't have any specialized tissue, so the plant cannot show the conduction of information. And the last part, instead of the specialized proteins found in animal muscle cells, plant cells change shape by changing the amount of water in them. Plant change their shape by changing the water potential. The water potential, when a cell have, when like this cell and this cell, when the upper cell have high water potential and lower cell have low water potential, it goes from high potential to low potential like diffusion. When the water potential changes from this cell to this cell, the shape of the cell is changes. This point exactly says that what, instead of the specialized proteins found in the animal muscle cell, plant cell change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling or shrinking, and therefore in changing shape. Swelling means cell goes big in size by water filling. Or what is shrinking? Shrinking means when the water leaves from the cell, leads to shrinking or small size of that cell. And in this process, plant shape is changes. And we will discuss in the first the coordination in plants. Now we will discuss the stimulus, and in the next video we will discuss about the growth in plants and what does it happen, but in this what way it happens. We will discuss about the next video. And this part now we will again discuss this part also. Plant does not have any kind of nervous or muscular tissue. If we think about where exactly the plant is touched and what part of the plant actually moves, it is apparent that movement happens at a point different from point of touch. Like this, when this is plant and we touch at the upper portion and it goes from that side, or the upper portion goes from that position to this position. That is exactly it says. The plant also use electrical or chemical means to convey this information or any kind of information from cell to cell, but unlike in animals, there is no specialized tissue in plants for the conduction of information. Conduction means electrical means to transfer. Electrical means to transfer. And the last word, instead of the specialized protein found in the animal muscle cell, plant cell change shape by changing the amount of water in them, resulting in swelling. What is swelling? Swelling means cell goes from big size by water filling. When a cell is water filled, that this goes from this size to this size. That is means that is swelling. And what is shrinking? When the water leaves from the cell, it leads to shrinking or small in size of that cell. Therefore, it changes the shape of plants. In that way, the plant shape is changes, and it is the effect of stimulus. It is the effect of stimulus, and we will discuss in the next video. What is the growth of plant.